Yeah. The sound there that takes us into the segment Ask the Consul, speaking with consular officers from the U.S. Embassy here in Kingston. Today I'm joined by Monica Galvides and Sydney Jouve. Welcome to the program, Monica and Sydney.
Good morning.
Hi, Dennis. Good morning.
Nice to have you. Nice to have you again. Sydney, you're no stranger around here, right?
Nope, this is my second time.
Okay.
First time was with Vernon.
Okay. And Monica, I know that you've been here a couple of times.
I've met you before, Dennis.
Yes, yeah. All right. I like to start off kind of trying to find out in terms of some updates, because persons like to know if any changes have been made, policy and otherwise, or any news related to immigration is changing anything in terms of what they need to be, how they need to prepare to come to the embassy. Sometimes persons tend to want to know that kind of thing. Remember, listeners, you can call 630-9371 to 4-618-8255. I'm also taking your tweets if you'd like at Nationwide Radio. But is there anything new that persons need to be aware of?
No, not so far as coming in for an interview. There's no new preparations that people need to do. But we do have a very exciting visit coming up. Yes. You might have heard.
April 9.
Yes.
Give us an idea of how excited, because it doesn't happen often that the President of the United States comes to a country where you're stationed. So, I mean, it must be exciting.
It's I think it's been 33 years since the U.S. President came here to Jamaica. And our CG...
Was that 82 or 83 when Reagan came?
I believe it was 82.
Yeah.
33 years, Dennis.
And our CG, he's had a long career in the Foreign Service, and it's his first presidential visit. So we're all incredibly excited.
Nice. And looking forward to that, I suppose, planning meticulously what will happen during the hours. Every hour that he's going to be here, I suppose, will be well planned out. And I can tell you, I had some conversations with some young people from the University of the West Indies. They're excited. They're excited because it is a president who has really captured the hearts and imaginations of a lot of young people. And it's a good thing. It's a really good thing. It's a good thing. It's good for diplomacy. And I suppose not just Jamaicans here in Jamaica, but also other persons from CARICOM are particularly interested as well in what he'll have to say when he gets here. What about persons who might be in particular categories? Are there any updates about whose categories, where, or is that all depending on when the callers call, what they'll have to say?
Well, Dennis, we brought with us the visa bulletin, so if there are any particular questions about categories or which categories, what the date is of the particular category, they can call and ask. So we brought a copy with us, and they can, of course, anytime they can refer to our website, which is kingston.usembassy.gov. So.
Definitely. There's a tweet here that says, I inquired about your SATs video. I'm not sure what that acronym means.
Yep, to study in the US.
Via the email link you suggested, but no response, the person says. They tweeted us. They mentioned the U.S. Well, remember, listeners, you can tweet the U.S. Embassy at USEmbassyJA. But
sure. Well, let me just clarify the email address just in case, maybe there was miscommunication on the email. But the office that administers SATs for us is the Information Resource Center. So the email address for them is kingstonirc@state.gov. And we'll mention to them that we had a call on the radio and to make sure to check the email for any SAT questions.
Certainly. Do you get a lot of questions about SATs? I mean, I know that persons are very much into studying for the SATs, different programs, especially here in Kingston. As an educator myself, a lot of people, you see the students in sixth form walking around with their SAT books because they're trying to get into a good school in the U.S. because that is something that persons will go to the embassy for to try to get a student visa to pursue their academic career in the United States.
And it's such a great opportunity for them. I'm glad that the person is looking into SATs. We do issue lots of visas for study in the U.S., and we're always trying to encourage people to do that.
And Dennis, it's not just a great opportunity for the Jamaican students, but it's a great opportunity for the American people as well. Jamaica has a reputation of producing really qualified students academically, and your fine tradition just of secondary schools in general. So we welcome them to come and study in our country and encourage it.
Certainly. One other thing that I find particularly interesting as well is, and every time I do this program, I like to emphasize going to the embassy and applying for the right visa for the right purpose of travel. I mean, persons, they have a visitor's visa, so they think I don't need to do. But if you want to study, you have to go to the embassy for a particular purpose. Just like if you were going to work for a week or to do something else or to be, just inbound traffic on your way to somewhere else. But specifically, the visa for studying purposes, how important is it for you to, well, first of all, before I ask that question, what does one need to bring to the embassy if they're going to try to convince you, look, I want to go to this school, I just got into FIU, and this is something that I really want to do. What do they need to bring to the embassy? We're going to answer that question on the other side of the break. Ask the Consul. We're speaking with Consular Officers Monica Galvides and Sydney Jouf. Well, before the break, I was throwing out that question. For persons who they're either, pre-university, preparing the SATs, or they've done the SATs and they're applying to schools, hoping to get responses by now. There are also persons who are doing the GRE examination because they want to do postgraduate work, graduate studies, as you call it in the U.S. So they're trying to get into a good grad program. What do they need to do to convince the U.S. Embassy that, look, you can let them into the country for academic purposes?
Sure. Well, there are a few specific documents that they should bring with them. There's a form called the I-20 that they will get from their school once they're accepted. That's a form that basically lets us know where they're going. So that's very important to have. We can't issue a visa without the I-20. They should also bring some type of proof that they are a student, their transcripts or their student ID. We do like to see their transcripts just to make sure that they are in fact a student here in Jamaica. There's a fee called the SEVIS fee that helps to track students when they're in the U.S. and they need to pay that before the visa is issued as well. And also they need to bring the proof of funding for the school, at least for the first year, maybe not for the whole time. That's 4 years. That's a long time. But definitely for the first year, we would want to see that.
All right. So if, for instance, you are being funded by your parents, then there's proof of the capacity to do so. If you're getting a scholarship, then you communicate. The university would provide that information.
Right, like a letter or some type of statement saying that they get a scholarship.
Certainly. And the same applies if you're at the grad studies level?
It would. Yep, it would.
Take us then a little bit into a person, because I've heard these instances in which a person is in the U.S., studied, completed a master's program, completed a PhD, is now been offered a job at the university, and the person says, I have to go home, and I have to come back to the U.S. I have to go to the U.S. Embassy and get another visa to come and be here as a professional now, because guess what? My academic career or my academic time in the university is over. That's an interesting thing, because some people might think you could just continue. Oh, yeah, sure, you can stay. But actually, you're no longer a student. You need to come back home. You need to inform the U.S. Embassy about what you're doing and then go back as a professional on a different visa.
Right, Dennis, we see a lot of applicants that come in that'll have multiple types of visa within their passport. And so every time you enter the United States, what the officials at immigration are looking for is, what is your purpose of travel? Why are you entering? So we see, for example, a lot of musicians and entertainers that travel frequently to the United States. Each time that they travel, even though I can look in their passport and I can see many trips to the U.S. for multiple purposes. They've got a valid tourist visa, but they're specifically going to the United States to perform in New York City or to do some sort of a gig in Florida. They must have a visa for that purpose of travel. So if you've completed your studies, your F visa is no longer valid. You need to return to the embassy and apply for a different type of visa. So it's exactly what you said.
And that is very important for persons to remember. Look, you told the embassy that you want to come here for this purpose. Don't overstay that purpose for which you told them to come, because that could have implications at a later time when you're coming maybe to the embassy for another visa.
Absolutely.
Indeed.
Yeah.
You know, on Monday we were having a conversation with one of the with our U.S. immigration specialist, and a caller raised an issue about, you know, why am I getting a hard time from the embassy? I haven't never overstayed my time. And, you know, in investigating and asking the questions, you realize that, you know, she spent 3 months, 4 months, 6 months. But she says, but they told me at the airport that I have 6 months in the country. 6 months in the country. What is six? What explain for the listeners what the time that you're told at the airport, at your port of entry, then what that means as compared with what the law says in terms of, you know, how long you should be here on vacation realistically.
Sure. Well, I mean, the 6 months is, or whatever time the Border Patrol officer gives you, that is the amount of time that you are allowed in the U.S. So if it says 6 months, you can stay 6 months. That's absolutely fine. But the thing is, then the next time you go in for a visa, like you were saying, that pattern of travel of 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, we do start to wonder if people are going for what they say they are going for tourism. You know, maybe there's a question about what they're actually doing on the visa when they start going for those lengths of time, and maybe make a pattern of it. So yeah, we do sometimes question people about that when we see a travel pattern like that. It's important that they have the right visa for their purpose, right?
Definitely.
It's also important to remember that whenever we're adjudicating a visa case or we're talking to an applicant, we're looking at what are their ties to Jamaica. Like, are there ties to Jamaica or are there ties to the United States? So periods of frequent long stays in the United States, even if they're not an overstay, even if they're not going beyond whatever immigration and Border Patrol has given them, it still begins to create that question: are they tourists? Are they traveling for tourism? Are they going up and visiting their family and coming back to Jamaica? Or are they sort of establishing a life that's partly in Jamaica and partly in the United States? So that's really what we're looking at. There may not be a visa ineligibility, but each time you come in for an interview, we're looking primarily at what are your ties and how stable are you within Jamaica.
To what extent would you take into consideration demographics like age, for instance? An older person who is on a visitor's visa, their kids might be living in the United States, or their relatives, and, you know, they're going up and they're maybe spending 3 months. That's different than, for instance, a younger person like myself who has a job to come back to, that ties me here in a different way. But that person who's traveling back and forth to the United States, maybe they're going, I don't know, maybe helping to take care of a young child or that kind of a thing, or spending time with the family. The family wants to see more of them, maybe. Does an older person get a different kind of a consideration than a younger person?
I mean, this depends on how well they can explain it, right? If they are truly doing what they say they're doing and they are convincing the officer that that's the truth, then I think age would be a factor. But, you know, on the whole, regardless of age, they need to be able to explain what their purpose of travel is and why they're spending that amount of time.
Definitely.
I would say officers are very highly trained to look at each individual case. So there isn't a particular demographic. We're never looking at necessarily how old you are or how much money you have or, you know, where you went to school or any of those things. We're never really looking at that. We're looking at the entire package of what is your stated purpose of travel, what brings you back to Jamaica. It's the whole thing, because, you know, going to the United States to help out with a family member or doing some babysitting for your daughter or for your auntie's kids, it's allowable under a B1, B2 visa. So again, every single case that comes in front of us, we're trained to evaluate a multitude of different factors and then make a decision. So I would say age is just one of many factors that we look at.
Definitely. Yeah. Explain, I've heard you use, when I listen to the program, I've heard you use a term, and I've always found it very interesting. Somebody who travels well to the United States or has a good traveling pattern. Explain what that might mean to someone who's curious to understand, am I traveling well? Because there are people, who they are deathly afraid of the fact that I haven't used my visa enough. I need to go and travel now because it's coming up. And they're very afraid that it's going to be taken away from them because you didn't use it well.
Well, this goes back to the other question about people who are staying 3 months, 4 months, 5 months. I mean, when you see a pattern like that where people are staying for long periods of time, I wouldn't say that's traveling well necessarily. But if you are going on tourism trips of a couple weeks and maybe you stay for a few months here to be with family over the summer and then you go back for a couple weeks, it just depends what your circumstances are and whether that travel makes sense.
And if a person does not use it often, maybe like once a year,
that's fine. No, people do think that they need to use their visa.
We see that all the time, Dennis. It's not a concern. Oftentimes people are very busy with their professional lives or the lives of their children or whatever factors. But, the visa is valid for 10 years. It's a 10-year visa. So oftentimes I'll see people in the line that only went once and they only stayed for 3 days. Or I'll see people who have had that 10-year visa and go once a year or even go twice a year. It's very easy to get up to the United States, do your shopping and come back, or go visit auntie and come back. And so I really don't think it's that you don't use it enough that determines it. It's just continue to establish what are your ties to Jamaica and what are your intents for the travel. Because, of course, we want to encourage Jamaicans to travel to the United States. We've got, a great relationship between our two countries, and we like to facilitate that at the embassy. Certainly.
Susan is on the line. Welcome to the program, Sue.
Good morning. Yes, I'm calling on behalf of a friend. Her daughter filed for a U.S. citizen. And now she has appointment at the U.S. Embassy for interview. She needs to know if she could take along her son. He's under 21 and unmarried, because she would like him to travel with her. But nothing was filed for him. Is it okay for her to take him?
Hi, Susan. Are you asking if your friend would like to bring the son specifically to the interview, or are you asking how does she get the son added to the petition?
To the interview.
Okay. Well, we often have applicants that come along with family members, but I think what your friend is probably trying to explore is would there be a possibility of the child being added, right?
Right.
Okay. And so it's a daughter that's filed for the mother?
Yes.
Okay, so that visa classification is called an IR, meaning immediate relative. IR stands for immediate relative, and immediate relative cases for immigrant visas do not allow for derivatives. That means that she's not able to put those children on that petition. She would need to go to the United States and get her citizenship established, and then she would be able to apply for, it's her son, right?
Yes. So that would be their sisters, the mother who's filing for her.
Yeah, then the mother would file for her, but because you're saying it's the daughter that's in the United States.
Her daughter, I should say.
Right, so
for her.
Her daughter filed for her. The other option, of course, and sometimes these cases take a really long time, but the sister could also file for the brother.
Yeah, but she was wondering if she could try. If she take him to the embassy, they would put him on.
Unfortunately, in that particular case, again, it's called an immediate relative case. You're not allowed to add your kids to those filings. So it would be a totally separate filing.
Okay.
Okay. But the good news
is she made an appointment at the medical for him also.
Well, she can always, if she has specific questions, she can always email us at the embassy as well. And our email address is Kingston IV. Okay, so for the letters meaning immigrant visa, Kingston IV at state.gov. So she could ask. We've got a very qualified staff that would be able to answer her questions. But again, in terms of that particular visa category, you're not allowed to add more to the petition.
And Susan, I'd recommend that your friend email anyway, because you don't necessarily maybe know all of the details about her petition. Maybe there's some detail that we don't know, and if we did know it, then we would, it's a good idea just to email, just to see if your friend has communicated all of the information to you and is giving you an accurate picture. I would just tell her to email, and then we can look specifically into that case.
And Susan, you don't need to know the case number. These are questions that could very easily be fielded by the U.S. Embassy. So I would agree with Monica. Just reach out to the embassy and pose your question, and we'll be able to help you.
Okay, so she have to send her name and date of birth?
Yep, that would be good information for us to find the case.
Okay, thank you.
Have a good day,
thank you, Susan.
Thank you very much, Susan. Herma is next. Welcome to the program, Herma.
Thank you. Hello. I would like to speak to the U.S.
Consular officers. Yep. Hi, Herma.
Hi, Herma.
I have a friend who he is 77 and he's a returning resident, right? He did have a resident visa. So he came out here in 2005 and he wasn't paying attention to his visa. So when he got up to it now, the visa was expired. He went back to apply for a visa, and they told him he should write a letter on why he has been here so long. That was in 2011.
Right.
So we sent in an email, and we did get no response. So I would like to know how can he get an appointment to sit and explain everything straight to a counselor?
Yep, sure. Well, hi, Herma. How are you?
I'm good.
Good. Well, we do get these kinds of applications often. They're called SB1 applications for returning residents who are applying to bring back their residency status. And so, did your friend actually go in and apply? Did he submit that application?
Yes, he made an application in 2011, and they told him that he should write a letter to the embassy on why he has been here so long.
Okay.
And now he has a daughter there, and his daughter even filed for him. And they told the daughter that he should write a letter or an email why he's out here so long.
Right. Okay. Well, I'm not sure. It sounds like if that case from 2011 is still open, he should make sure that letter was received, and he can email it again to KingstonIV@state.gov, and just you can say that you talked to Cindy and Monica on the radio show, and they'll be sure to get a response to him. But also, if he was turned down and wasn't able to go back, his daughter filing for him is a good next step, because that's ultimately what would have to happen if his application is turned down. So I think it's a good idea that he has that petition moving forward.
Yes, but they want the letter. He sent in an email and he get no response. So they want the letter. So he would like to know how he could come and speak directly to a counselor.
Well, you have to have an appointment to come in and speak directly to someone. If he sends an email again to KingstonIV@state.gov and mentions the radio show, we will reply to him, and we'll see if an appointment is necessary to come in or give him further instructions on what he needs to do.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you, Herma.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Have a good day.
You
All right,
too.
take care. Thank you very much, Herma, for your call. Next up is Karen. Karen is on the line. Welcome, Karen.
Hi, good morning.
Hi, Karen.
Yes, good morning. I would like to know, I've been filed for from 2011. But I know that I won't be getting through now by my brother. So I want to go and apply for a visiting visa. You think that's a good idea?
Karen, this is Cindy, and we do see people that have pending applications. So in particular for your case, it's your brother that's filed for you, and you said that was filed in 2011?
Yes.
Okay, so at this point, the cases, it looks like, just to kind of give you an update from our visa bulletin, it looks like it could be several years before your case, before you get your appointment at the embassy. And so I understand why you would want to go now and visit him.
Just to visit, yes.
Yep, just to do a visit. So
yes.
just like any other applicant that comes to the U.S. Embassy, what we would recommend to you when you're applying for a tourist visa is to come and just tell us honestly everything about your situation. You would tell the consular officer, everything about your particular situation, and tell them that your intent is to visit your brother, that you understand that you have a filing over in the immigrant section, and just be completely open and honest with what your intentions are. And then the officer, of course, I can't tell you how that officer would adjudicate or what decision that officer would make, but I definitely think you should be open and honest as much as you can.
Okay. All right.
But just to summarize, Karen, having an immigrant petition pending doesn't mean that you can't apply for a tourist visa. Okay.
Okay. I was wondering because I don't know if when I go there they're going to say no, go and wait until your filing comes through, or
Right.
So,
a lot of people do think that having a filing is a bar to getting a visitor's visa, and it's absolutely not a bar. We would look at the circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay then.
Right.
Thanks, Karen.
Thank you very much, Karen. But certainly you would, if it's very near to being completed, the filing process, you might ask them to wait, because I would find it kind of a contradictory to be saying to the embassy, I want to live in your country, and also to be saying, I only want to visit your country. So, I mean, by a certain time, I suppose it would be too close to go back to the embassy for a visitor's visa, would you say?
I would say it depends on the particulars of the situation, and I know that sounds, Dennis, like I'm being overly general, but honestly it's not, because sometimes for some applicants, having a legal way to immigrate and to live in the United States, people are very careful. They want to protect that. They don't want to go over on a tourist visa and ruin that, but yet at the same time, their mother has been living in the United States for 12 years and it's her 90th birthday. So we have to look at...
Okay, well, yeah. So it really is judged each case on its own merit.
Absolutely, right. And we understand here in Jamaica that there are many Jamaicans that are living in the United States, and we understand the relationship between the two countries and that there is a lot of movement. This is the Caribbean. We're an hour away from Miami. We understand that, and that's why we try to tell everybody the importance of just being honest and being open and describing in full detail what your situation is.
Certainly. Judy is on the line. Welcome to the program, Judy.
Good morning, Consul. I'm calling on behalf of my sister. She is in her 60s. She's married to a pastor. He has visa. He has renewed his visa a number of times. I'm not sure how many times. But he would like to take her in because he's going to renew his visa again. And he would like to take her in. So she's wondering what she needs to take, because she went in 2005 with him and she was denied. So she wants to know what she is to take this time when she's going.
Sure. Hi, Judy. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks.
Good. So this is a visitor's visa you're talking about, right?
Yes, because he's a pastor. He's just going up for his vacation. He's due in July, I think. So he'd like to take her with him for a month.
Okay. Well, there are some documents that are just needed for the application. I believe that there's an application form. There's a photo that she should bring with her. Her confirmation form for the interview. There's a full list of the documents on our website. It's kingston.usembassy.gov. But those are the most basic ones. And as for, sometimes people think that they need to have a letter or some other signs of support for their visit, and that's really not necessary. As long as she is able to explain why she wants to go and where she's going to go, maybe who she's going to see, that's really all she needs to have prepared. She doesn't need any special document. And
okay, because they'll be staying with his aunt.
Okay, that's great. She should just tell the officer that. Yep.
And I would say, Judy, just to add as well, 2005, that was 10 years ago.
Right.
And so
long time ago.
A lot can change in that amount of time, or 10 years can give us a sign of stability. She's been married to this guy for a certain number.
About 26, 27 years.
Oh, wow. Congratulations.
Yep. Congratulations.
That's great. It's an eternity.
See, not you.
Yeah. Thanks for calling, Judy.
All right. Thank you very much.
All right.
Have a good day.
All right. Chanel is on the line. Welcome, Chanel.
Hi, good morning.
Hi.
Hi, Chanel.
Hi, good morning to you guys. I'm calling on the behalf of my aunt. She applied for a visa in 2012 but was denied. Now, my question is, she wants to find out if she overstayed in Bahamas and got locked up for 1 year and 6 months. So she wants to know if that can affect getting a visa.
Hi, Chanel. Like kind of what we've been saying this morning, past behavior sometimes, can be taken into account when we're doing the interview, but we're looking at, with your aunt's case, we're looking at the totality of the situation. So she was in 2012, and did she conceal that, or did she talk to the officer about whatever had happened in the Bahamas?
No, she didn't mention that, but she's wondering if that will be on record since she got locked up.
Well, I would say not to go into too many details about your auntie's case, but just in general, it would be better when she comes to the interview to say, look, this is what happened, it was an overstay, and to be completely honest with the consul, because whether it's in her application or whether it's somewhere else, it's better that we know those things, that she's the one that actually talks to the officer about it, instead of us finding it out through another source. So she should be as honest as she possibly can with us.
Okay, no problem.
You have a good day, Chanel.
Okay,
Thanks, Chanel.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chanel. We're going to take a break, and on the other side of the break, we come back with Anne-Marie's call. Good morning, Anne-Marie.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm well. I hope you are, too.
Yes, I'm well. Thank you.
Okay, go
Hi,
ahead.
Anne-Marie.
Calling on behalf of my son. His father has filed a petition for him, and I think he did the interview in 2011. His father's name was not on his birth certificate, so he was to add that to it. And they did the DNA, and he did the interview. But after the interview, he was turned down, saying there's not enough evidence that they are related. And he would now like to apply for a visiting visa. What should he do? And would he be able to get a visiting visa?
Sure, Anne-Marie. Hi, how are you?
I'm all right, thank you.
Good, yes. Well, we do see these cases occasionally, and like Cindy was saying earlier, it's important that your son is upfront with the consular officer about the situation when he goes in to apply for the non-immigrant visitor's visa. Just because this happened does not, again, it's not a bar for his visiting visa. We would just take a look at all of the circumstances and make a decision on the visa based on everything, not just this situation.
Oh, not on the past situation, because what happened after he was denied, a letter was sent to me, the mother, and it was, I sent it to the father, but the father has not done anything to it. And to date, he's not in contact with the father. He's only in contact with his sister. Right. And he would like to visit my families over there and his sister, because the relationship again break down between him and the father, and he would like to visit, so that's why I was trying to find out.
Right, sure. Well, when he goes into the interview, he should say, you know, I've got a sister in the U.S. and I'd like to see her for this occasion or for whatever the trip is, and just be open about it and tell the officer up front, and the officer will take a look at the whole situation.
And Anne-Marie, just to add quickly that when your son comes, just to be really prepared for the interview, because you know, the embassy now is seeing anywhere between 700 and 900 applicants a day. So if the interview seems short, it's because he needs to really be able to convey that information and convey it quickly. So just as Monica said, just come to the interview prepared and tell him, you know, that he should lead with that, or say, look, I'm going to go visit my sister. This is what my intentions are. So just to keep
and I guess you'd like also to travel with me and his brother, because he's the only one who doesn't have a visa now and can't travel.
Yep, just tell him to explain that, okay, Anne-Marie?
Yes.
Have a good day.
Thank you. You too.
Thanks a lot. Okay, next up is Rosalie.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning,
Rosalie.
Yes, I have a problem here with the U.S.
Okay, go ahead.
Embassy. I don't know. Each time I've been going to the embassy since like about 9 times, and I just keep on getting turned down. I don't know for what reason. I had a working visa which I did not travel on in 2001, and I did not travel on it, and I don't know if that's the reason. I have wrote to the embassy, and until now I haven't received back any answers from them.
Okay, Rosalie. Let me take your question and just lead by saying, you know, that email, maybe it got lost somewhere in the traffic, so I just wanted to make sure that you're applying to Kingston NIV at state.
That's what I did.
You've got that email already? Okay.
Yeah.
You know, every time that you have an interview, it's an opportunity for you to present your case. But we like to say when an applicant has been turned down or, for example, didn't get through this time, we'd like then when they come the next time to be able to demonstrate, for example, what's different in their situation. Has anything changed in your situation? And then sort of lead the interview with that.
But I present to them, I think I've been honest, and each time I go in there, and I don't know what is the problem, why they're not giving me the visa.
Well, unfortunately, we're not able to go into the particulars of anyone's case, but again, we just, you know, as we sort of said before, that every case is different. Every case is adjudicated by an individual. For example, if you come in and talk to me today, Rosalie, the next time that you come in for an interview, you won't be able to talk to you. It's part of our procedures to give you a fresh interview every single time. So, but I have to say, you know, I can't tell you that if you were to come in and interview, let's say you interview with me today and you interview with someone else tomorrow, that the officer would come to a different conclusion, okay? So just to sort of to put it out there that each interview is new, and it's your opportunity to show us what's different or what's changed in your situation,
Yeah,
okay?
the different is the really important part, as Cindy emphasized.
In this case, now what do I do? Am I to apply again because it's 9 times now? What do I do? Keep on applying?
Yeah, well, as Cindy said, I would wait until there's something different in your situation. You know, you might need to let some time go by. I'm not sure the timeline of when you apply, but it might need to be, you know, as long as it takes to get something different in your situation.
All right. Thanks a lot, Rosalie, for your
Thanks,
for your
Rosalie.
call. That's all the time we have for this segment. That's all the time we have for the program today. Went by pretty quickly. Thank you very much, ladies. Our consular officers this week have been Monica Galvades and Sydney Jouf on the program. Thank you very much. Thank you,
Dennis.
It's been good.
And we wanted to say good luck on the GSATs, everyone.
And thanks to all the teachers. We know you were a teacher, Dennis, so we want to wish all the kids good luck and tell their teachers thank you. And also we want to give a shout out for Champs, of course. We know your school is St. Catherine's, right? Is that who you're rooting for?
Yep. I'm rooting for St. Catherine, but I'm also, my heart is with the Queen's School and Immaculate as well. I hope they do well too.
Good luck, kids.
All right.
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 Good luck.